In this video, we're going to go over how to use the TI Business Analyst 2 cash flow worksheet to solve for net present value and internal rate of return. We're going to review how it works as we're going to be using it quite a bit. And it wouldn't hurt to get your calculator and follow along with the keystrokes to either review or to get comfortable with the process. In the introduction to the TI, you've been introduced to the TVM keys and a little bit to worksheets. A main difference to keep in mind. With the TVM keys, you do not need to press enter. You simply press the numeric key and the TVM key that it goes in, 5N. With worksheets, data must be specifically entered into each worksheet cell. With all that said, let's look at the cash flow worksheet. First step, press CF. Remember, the data previously entered is retained unless it's cleared or overlaid. With the TVM keys, you have a finite number of keys. 5 keys, you enter any 4 and solve for the 5th. So clearing them is not quite as critical. With the cash flow worksheet, you have a variable number of cells. What's in there depends on the last time you used it, so you need to clear the worksheet before you begin. You do that by pressing second and clear work. With the cash flow worksheet cleared, we're going to calculate NPV and IRR using the sample data shown on the left. We're presented with CF0. We need to enter our initial cash flow, the outflow 19,250. So we key in the 19,250. And remember, to make it negative, we press the plus or minus key and hit enter. The data is entered in the cell. Now to move up and down between the cells, think of the worksheet like a column in Excel. I want to go down. If I want to go back and make sure I entered that first one correctly, I can go back to it. Now we're presented with cash flow 1. We're going to enter the 8,500, enter, and down. In the financial calculators, you're offered the opportunity to designate cash flow frequency. So if cash flow 1 and 2 were both 8,500, we could enter a frequency of 2 and not have to enter 8,500 twice. In this example, each cash flow only occurs one time, so we can accept the default frequency of 1 and press down again. We're going to repeat the process for cash flows 2 through 5 in the example. Cash flow 2, 6,800, enter and down. It occurs one time, so we can accept the default. Cash flow 3, 4,500, enter and down. It occurs one time, accept the default. Cash flow 4, 4,000, enter and down, accept the 1. And our last cash flow, 3,500, enter and down, and accept the default. When all the cash flows have been entered, as I said, you can go back and check on them if you want to. Go back up and look at them. When we've got them all in, press NPV. The I on the display is asking for the discount rate, which for this project is 14. Remember, we enter those as whole numbers. Enter that and go down. With NPV displayed, hit Compute. Since your calculator is set to 4 decimal places, you're going to see 662.0028. Now remember, the data is already in the cash flow worksheet, so all you need to do to find IRR is press IRR and compute. 15.7055. You're going to be using the cash flow worksheet quite a bit in this course, so you need to take a few minutes to become comfortable, particularly with the enter and down sequence of entering data in this worksheet.